my clock, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols. Reaming my body, clothing no issue. Bitch, you look sick, you need a tissue. You drop a body, I just might bless you. I'm metrosexual.
Yo, what is going on, everyone? It's Wraith here, back with another video. Now in today's video, I decided I'm going to start the series that basically was inspired to me by someone named M.N.K through my community, because basically I asked a lot of you guys what you kind of want to see and start looking at for videos, because basically a lot of my video ideas are kind of running out, and obviously it's hard when I upload so much. I was kind of wondering what you guys want to see more. So his idea was basically kind of a 0 to hero, or like a noob to pro type kind of deal, where basically I'm going to be going over from the very basics all the way to very advanced on how to actually improve at Fortnite and become a pro player, which may seem pretty difficult right now, but trust me, it could be done and it can be done. So basically at the start of this season, or the start of this kind of series, is basically going to be very, very basic things. So for right now, basically I'm going to be talking about just strictly sensitivity and building binds and how to find some that work for you. So if you're looking forward to this video, make sure you slap a like button on it, hit that subscribe button, comment what you want to see for a future video. Make sure that you let me know if this is a series that you enjoy or series you enjoy, and let's get right into today's video. So basically this is a start, and it's kind of very difficult to figure out when you first start Fortnite, or even if you've played Fortnite for a while, what keybinds or controller binds or sensitivity to actually use. And basically there is really no right answer. I can't tell you a sensitivity or binds that'll work for you and just say, oh yeah, use this and it'll work. No, that's not really how it works. What you need to do, and what you need to do, or what you need to practice, is basically, so the first thing, and probably the hardest thing to figure out when you first start Fortnite, or really any game, is what keybinds or controller binds or sensitivity do you actually use? And a lot of you guys might be like, okay, so what's the number that I should put in, or what keybind should I use? And to be honest, there's not really a specific kind of keybinds or sensitivity I can tell you, because everyone's different, right? Some people might like higher sense, some people might like lower sense, some people might, I don't know, have really weird keybinds, while some people might have normal keybinds, right? It's very, very differential for every single person, and it's very hard to figure out what works for you. So basically what I suggest doing, and obviously again this isn't a 100% guarantee because I can only help you like so much, but basically what I'd recommend doing is figuring out what pro players use as their keybinds. For example, who do you follow that use specific keybinds? Now you might be wondering, well, haven't you talked in other videos saying like don't just copy pro players? And no, you shouldn't just copy, like for example Tfu's just because you love Tfu and you think he's a good player. His keybinds might not work for you, but something I would suggest doing is basically trying out his keybinds, or maybe a mix of his keybinds and someone else's keybinds, and literally in like 30 minutes or even less, you should be able to tell almost instantly if it's going to work for you. I know, for example, I tried ninjas when I first started on keyboard and mouse, and right away I kind of just noticed, I was like, I do not enjoy this. This is not going to work for me. I don't think I should really like actually use these keybinds, right? Very, very important to figure out what works for you, and automatically if it doesn't, just switch it up. So basically once I figured out ninjas wasn't working for me, I decided to switch it up like I said, and I kind of used a mix of everyone's keybinds. It's a little bit weird, but like I used a mix of Tfu's, I used a mix of mongrels, as well as I think I used a little bit of ninjas too, which is again pretty weird. It's a little mixed, but it works for me. So that's what's important. That's what you got to remember, that whatever works for you is what's going to work, right? So it's very, very hard, but trust me, you just got to try a couple of things. You got to try out and see what actually works. It's a little bit of a testing process. You might even take a day, maybe 2 days, to figure out what works for you, what feels comfortable. But again, like I said, just keep switching things around until you feel comfortable with a specific bind, and you're like, hey, this is definitely what I like. If one or even two binds, or one, like your sensitivity feels a little bit too high, just switch it up just a little bit. It's pretty easy to fix, and then you're good to go. And then once you basically figure out what you kind of like using and what kind of binds feel comfortable for you, and again, it might take a week, it might take 2 weeks, it might take a day, whatever, until you feel comfortable. Trust me, just keep practicing and keep switching over different binds and different sensitivity. So basically once you figured out what you kind of like and what works for you, what I personally recommend doing is sticking with it and going into creative and practicing a lot. So a lot of you guys might be like, okay, well, what do you mean? Like, some of you guys might not even play Fortnite, right? You guys might be like, well, what even is creative? So basically what creative is just kind of a practice mode where you can go in and practice by yourself or with other people. And it's just basically like you can free build or kind of do whatever you want. So it's kind of nice because it's just a really, really good way to practice, and you don't really have to worry about other people like getting in your way or shooting at you if you don't want, etc., etc. So I definitely highly recommend like actually practicing in creative a lot to make sure these are really the binds that you enjoy and feel comfortable with. And by doing that, you can literally just free build super easily. And if you don't know what free builds is again, it's basically just in creative where you literally just practice building. You can practice any kind of builds you want, and if you don't know what to practice, like, you can literally just look up on YouTube or whatever. I even have some videos on it, and basically just look up, oh yeah, like free build practice or what to practice building in creative. And again, I will be talking about a full building guide in the future, but right now that's what I just recommend doing. And then basically just once you feel a little bit more comfortable and you've done that quite a bit and you're like, okay, well, yeah, I feel good, like I know what I'm doing, I kind of feel like good with my keybinds, etc., etc. Well, then basically then I recommend going and doing 1v1s and zone wars in creative. And you could just join a Discord. I've made videos on it before again, or you can just look online to how to join Discords. But basically what 1v1s are is basically just fight an enemy. It's just you v another enemy, and it's just a really kind of nice way to practice and improve really quickly, right? So I'd recommend doing that once you kind of feel more used to your binds, etc., etc. Again, you don't have to, but it's just something that I personally recommend. And then once you've figured out and you've practiced, you've played 1v1s, you've practiced in creative, whatever the case is, right? What then I recommend doing is basically practicing in an actual game. Now, a lot of you guys might be like, oh, well, like, I don't know, I should feel fine, or a lot of you guys might feel nervous, right? What you need to keep in mind is that just because you can build really good in creative doesn't mean you're going to be able to build really good inside of actual games, right? Because a lot of people will be able to build with no pressure or whatever, and they'll be like, okay, I'm good to go. Yet when you get in a game with a lot of actual people, it actually gets pretty difficult. So trust me, once you start feeling comfortable with your binds and your sensitivity or even your aiming or whatever the case is, then start going into a game. Make sure, again, everything feels good. And if it does feel good, then you're Gucci. Just keep practicing, keep improving, and keep playing in actual like games, right? Very, very important to remember. Now this next tip, and this is a very, very important one, and it's very important, so keep it in mind, is try not to switch your keybinds too much. Now, a lot of people I know who come on my stream or even I just talk to, they have a problem where basically they switch their keybinds way too much, trying to figure out just if they can become a little bit better. They can switch their controller binds or their sensitivity and be like, okay, I can just become a little bit better if I do this or this, right? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to try and improve by switching up your keybinds, but I just personally recommend don't switch it up too much, because then you're probably not going to become too good if you just keep switching up and you can't practice on the same specific thing all the time. So basically what I'd recommend doing is maybe if you feel like you need to switch one or two things, go ahead and do it, but if not, then probably not the best idea to actually switch it up all the time. Again, that's just personally what I recommend, because if you don't, then, or if you do switch up your keybinds all the time, like I said, it's probably going to be very, very difficult to actually get used to and stick with those keybinds. Now, the same thing kind of goes for sensitivity, is basically just, again, keep practicing. Do you feel comfortable? Do you not feel comfortable? Whatever the case is, if you feel like it's a little bit fast or a little bit slow, then just whatever, right? So you can switch it up. But again, same thing goes. You don't want to switch it up too much, because it will feel a little bit weird and it will feel a little bit unnatural if you're using something that doesn't work for you, or you just keep switching between a couple, right? So it's very, very important to make sure once you figure out what works for you, try your best not to switch it too much. So again, this is basically going to be it for the first episode, and this was just kind of a very basic kind of deal on how to actually choose your sensitivity and find your keybinds or controller binds that work for you. Hopefully this video helped. Again, this is going to be kind of a series from now on, so if you have any specific things you guys want help with, definitely let me know. Like I said, I'll probably be doing like basic IQ, when to rotate, how to box fight, like basic building and editing skills, etc, etc. And again, I'm just going to be doing a couple of them. I'll probably be doing, like, again, if this actually works, I'll be doing a big series. If not, all good. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this series. Again, this can be used for any pro player, any basic player, any player who hasn't even played the game. Again, it's just going to be different kind of videos. Some are going to be advanced, some are going to be basic. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Peace.